Behind the Line, episode 49. I'm your host, KC. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Hit the like and subscribe button on YouTube. Make sure to hit that notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Leave me a 5-star rating on iTunes. I appreciate those that have already done so. I got my home studio set up this weekend. I got the camera, the lighting, everything's ready to go. I hope to get the podcast to video format within the next week or two. I'm looking for a good video editing software. I know that Adobe has Adobe Premiere. I know of a couple of other ones, but if anyone knows or anyone has any recommendations on good video editing software to use to upload videos to YouTube, please let me know in the comments below or hit me up on Twitter. All right, let's get into it. The Tom Brady rumor mill continued to heat up over this past weekend. The future of Tom Brady is going to continue to dominate the news cycle until it's determined where he's going to be playing next season. Over the weekend, a new potential landing spot has emerged. The Dallas Cowboys. I was reading an article on Sports Illustrated, and apparently Michael Irvin is claiming that he spoke with some people over Super Bowl weekend, and the potential plan is for the Cowboys to go after Tom Brady. They would then, if they could sign Tom Brady, they would then franchise tag Dak Prescott and begin to field offers from other teams to trade him. Michael Irvin came out later and said that he didn't speak to anyone directly associated with the Cowboys, but with people that were close to the team. In other words, he wasn't speaking with Stephen or Jerry Jones directly. If Jerry Jones could pull this off, if he could pull off getting Tom Brady, I think it would be the right move for the Dallas Cowboys. This is a win-win for Dallas. You've got a Super Bowl winning head coach in Mike McCarthy. You've got weapons offensively. Amari Cooper, Ezekiel Elliott. You've got a great offensive line. This could be an ideal situation for Tom Brady, while it also increases Jerry Jones' chances at winning that one final Super Bowl, because it's not going to happen with Dak Prescott. But more importantly, this gives the Cowboys the perfect exit plan and the ability to end the Dak Prescott era. I don't think Dallas wants to pay Dak Prescott $35-40 million a year. They'd be out of their fucking minds to pay him that kind of money. And if they wanted to, they would have extended him last summer before the season started, just like they did with Ezekiel Elliott. They've been very apprehensive with this contract situation in regards to Dak Prescott. But Dak's got them in a sticky situation because they don't have a backup plan. They don't have a backup quarterback that can step in and even get this team to 8-8 like Dak did last year. At 77 years old, Jerry Jones is not interested in drafting and developing a young quarterback. He wants to win now. I don't know if Tom Brady is interested in Dallas, but in my opinion, it's the only team in the league where it makes sense for both sides. Last week, there were reports that San Francisco was interested in Tom Brady. But I think it'd be a mistake for the Niners to give up on Jimmy Garoppolo this soon. Jimmy G's a better quarterback than Dak Prescott. You don't give away your future for 1 to 2 years with Tom Brady at 43 years old. Brady isn't going anywhere that isn't an ideal situation for him. So teams like the Bungles, the Browns, the Bucks, teams like that, it's just not going to happen. Not getting Tom Brady. But teams that Tom Brady would see as ideal already have their franchise quarterback. The Saints, the Steelers, Seahawks, Packers. Even a team like the Bills and Buffalo. All those teams already have their guy. Dallas is the only team in the NFL that has the weapons that Tom Brady needs, the offensive line, Super Bowl winning head coach, but also has a question mark at the quarterback position. Ezekiel Elliott would be in the backfield to take some of the pressure off Tom Brady. Dallas has receivers that can actually get open. They can create space, something that he was sorely lacking last year in New England. All they would need to do to make this a perfect offense for Tom Brady is to go pick up a tight end. They'd also have the opportunity to build towards their future, the post-Tom Brady days. You could command first, second round picks for Dak Prescott. Draft someone that could learn from Tom Brady for 1 or 2 years. This is Jerry Jones' chance to get out of the Dak Prescott mess. Because if he commits long-term to Dak, he is never winning another Super Bowl in his lifetime. I'm still seeing people in the mainstream sports media that believe Tom Brady's going to return to New England. Nothing that I've seen the past couple of months leads me to believe that this will happen. I know Bill Belichick is now saying that he wants Tom Brady back, but I think it's too little too late. I honestly think Tom Brady is fed up with the Patriots and wants to prove to himself and to everyone else that he can win a Super Bowl without Bill Belichick. All right, let's switch gears for a minute. The XFL kicked off this past weekend. I was following the reaction on Twitter Saturday, mostly Sunday, and I was surprised because it was mostly positive. I'm shocked at the number of mainstream sports media personalities who have great things to say about the XFL. Everyone is trumpeting how successful this weekend was for Vince McMahon and the XFL. And I didn't see it that way. Not even close. And I'm not trying to be negative here. I just didn't think it was that great of a debut weekend for the XFL. The ratings for the Saturday games were released Monday morning. Headlines: XFL has huge debut ratings. They averaged 3.3 million viewers. Hardly what I would call impressive for the debut weekend of the league, where people's curiosity is as high as it'll ever be. To put that number into perspective, when the XFL originally debuted back in the spring of 2001, they drew 54 million viewers. Sunday, my Twitter timeline was filled with people talking about how great the attendance was at this weekend's games. I could not believe what I was seeing on Twitter. These people are either ignorant, blind, or outright lying. The game at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey Sunday afternoon, the lower bowl wasn't even half full. You could hear a mouse fart in that stadium, or maybe that black cat that ran across the field when the Giants were playing on Monday Night Football a couple of months ago. The game in Houston on Saturday, attendance was just under 18,000 in a stadium that holds 40,000, not even filled to half capacity. I tried to watch the two games on Sunday. I didn't catch the two on Saturday. I was out doing other things. But I tried to watch the two on Sunday. I just couldn't get into it. I ended up watching the NBA instead. I'll be honest with you. And I think this is one of the problems the XFL is going to have, besides the lack of star power. But one of the problems I think is that after the Super Bowl, I'm kind of burned out on football. I think they really fucked up with launching this league directly after the Super Bowl. For one, the entire week last week, everyone was talking about their reaction to the Super Bowl. No one was really talking about the XFL until Friday. For 5 months, every Sunday has been dedicated to the NFL. No golf, no minor household chores or fixes that I've been neglecting since September. Once the Super Bowl ends, I finally get a chance to breathe a little bit. Do things on Sunday that I don't get to do during football season. Another problem for the XFL, the games weren't competitive this weekend. Out of the 4 games, only one was decided by one possession. Average margin of victory was close to 15 points. That, combined with the lack of star power, I can see the ratings taking a nosedive heading into week 2. I will give the XFL credit for one thing, and I want to like this league. I really do. But the gameplay was much better than I expected. It at least resembled an actual football game, something the 2001 version of the XFL was sorely lacking. I just don't think there's going to be enough sustained interest in this league for it to last. In a couple of weeks, conference championships begin in college basketball. Then comes March Madness, right in the heart of the XFL regular season, right in the middle of what will be their playoff chase. I think that the ratings this past weekend are as high as they're going to get. And once people start tuning out, networks like Fox, ESPN, ABC, which are 100% supporting the league right now, will be quick to abandon it. All right, let's get to the NBA. I've been talking a lot lately about the Houston Rockets and how I feel with the trade of Clint Capella. There's going to be some big changes coming to the Rockets organization. They're committing themselves 100% to the small ball lineup, which, as I've stated a couple of times on this podcast, is not going to work in the playoffs. They've got that untradeable contract with Russell Westbrook. The championship window is closed in Houston. But another team in the NBA that is on the verge of potentially seeing some massive changes is the Philadelphia 76ers. There are serious whispers right now surrounding Brett Brown, whether or not he's the right coach for this team. But I think this could be Joel Embiid's last season in a Sixers uniform. NBA insider Brian Windhorst with ESPN reported the other day that executives around the league are preparing for the possibility that Philadelphia will put Embiid on the trade market this summer. It seems the Sixers are beginning to tire on some of Joel Embiid's antics. The fan base in Philadelphia appears to be souring on Embiid as well. He was booed mercilessly the other night in their game against Chicago, a game in which the Sixers struggled to put away one of the worst teams in the NBA at home. Joel Embiid has never really endeared himself to the fans in Philadelphia. He's constantly injured in a city that loves their stars to be tough and gritty. He's uncoachable. He's a complainer. His effort is inconsistent at best, non-existent as well, sometimes. He and Ben Simmons don't fit well together. That's just the fact of the matter. Simmons is another problem the Sixers have, in my opinion. You've got a 6'10" point guard, a guy that should be dominating at his position. Yet Philadelphia is one of the worst offensive teams in the league, largely because Ben Simmons can't shoot the fucking ball. In a league where nearly every guy on the floor is expected to be an efficient three-point shooter, Ben Simmons has attempted 6 3-pointers all season. But KC, his game is to drive the paint. He's not a three-point shooter. He drives the lane, get to the free throw line. Simmons is effective in the paint. That much is true. But he is god-awful at the free throw line, shooting 62% this year, which is an improvement on the 59% that he shoots for his career, which is Dwight Howard level bad. I believe Dwight Howard shoots around 56, 57% from the line throughout his career. Ben Simmons is Dwight Howard bad at the free throw line. Another problem, too, with both Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, neither one of these guys are really complete players. Neither one of them are leaders. Who's the leader on the floor in Philadelphia? No one. They had one in Jimmy Butler last year. They let him walk to Miami. I understand the franchise's frustrations with Joel Embiid. I get it. But he has more potential and is closer to reaching that potential than Ben Simmons is. Simmons is the same guy now in 2020 that he was in his rookie season. He has not improved any facet of his game. He's a 6'10" point guard going up against guys 5, 6, 7 inches shorter than he is, and still can't dominate at his position. This Sixers team is soft. They don't handle adversity well. One of the signs of a good, cohesive NBA team, they win on the road. The Sixers are 9-19 on the road. They're one of the worst road teams in the NBA. They lost more games on the road than any other playoff team in either conference. They just lost 4 straight on the road in the past week or two. For 7 or 8 years in Philadelphia, all we've heard about is the process. Joel Embiid has even nicknamed himself the process. All it's been is a long, drawn-out process that's resulted in first and second round playoff exits. This team as currently constructed isn't anywhere close to contending for an NBA title. Who's the closer on this team? Not Ben Simmons. He can't fucking shoot. Isn't Joel Embiid, who could be a dominant post player if he ever decided to post up with consistency. It blows my mind the concessions this franchise makes for Joel Embiid. If you're a guy like Kawhi Leonard and you want to have a say in how a team practices, or you want to dictate which games you'll play, which games you'll sit, I can kind of give you a little leeway. Kawhi's a proven winner, won 2 NBA titles. His load management system in Toronto last year worked. But a guy like Joel Embiid telling you when he is and isn't playing, no fucking way. He hasn't accomplished anything yet. He isn't on the level of a Kawhi Leonard, a LeBron James. It'd be like Anthony Davis telling the Lakers, I don't feel like playing tonight. What the fuck has AD proven in 8 years in the NBA? Nothing. 2 appearances in the playoffs. 1 time advancing past the first round. The NBA is unique to every other professional sports league because in the NBA, the star player on the team has all the power, has all the leverage. Not the owner, not the head coach. In the NFL, ownership and the head coach have all the power on the team. Now, Sean Payton certainly consults Drew Brees on things, but ultimately, Sean Payton's running the Saints, not Drew Brees. In Los Angeles, LeBron James is running the Lakers. In Philadelphia, Joel Embiid has been running the Sixers. We'll see what happens in Philadelphia. Both Embiid and Brett Brown could be gone this offseason, especially if this team gets bounced in the first round of the playoffs, which, if they match up with Miami, like it would be if the season ended right now, is exactly what will end up happening. Now, a lot has been made of the Golden State-Minnesota trade that went down last week at the trade deadline. If you don't know, Minnesota sent Andrew Wiggins to the Warriors in exchange for D'Angelo Russell. Some think that the Warriors got the worst end of the deal in this trade. Nick Wright on Fox Sports is saying that Steph Curry will never see another NBA Finals now that they have Andrew Wiggins. I think that's a bit harsh, and I disagree wholeheartedly. I actually think the Warriors got the better end of the deal. D'Angelo Russell was never going to work in Golden State. They've already got 2 elite guards in Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. And you're not going to pay D'Angelo Russell max money to come off the fucking bench. I think Andrew Wiggins fits better with this team. He's taken a beating, and rightfully so, for never living up to his potential while with the T-Wolves. But Wiggins is not a number 1 guy. Just because you're drafted number 1 in the draft doesn't mean you've got the ability to be the next LeBron James or Steph Curry. Some guys just don't have what it takes to be that guy to the team and to the franchise. In Golden State, the expectations on Andrew Wiggins will be a lot lower than they were in Minnesota. Instead of being the guy, Andrew Wiggins, for the first time in his career, will just be a guy. He'll be the 3rd option offensively. He'll be expected to fill a role instead of being expected to save a franchise. When he was drafted, the expectations on him were super high coming into Minnesota, and he could never live up to them. Hell, Kevin Garnett couldn't save the dumpster fire known as the Minnesota Timberwolves, the NBA's equivalent to the Cincinnati Bungles. And Kevin Garnett's a top 50 player all time. So why would you think that Andrew Wiggins could do the same? The Warriors were the winners with this trade. They desperately needed a wing player. They lost both Kevin Durant and Andre Iguodala in one summer. That is a devastating blow. You lose arguably the best player on the planet in Durant. And then you lose the heart and soul of the team with Iguodala. Andrew Wiggins cannot replace either one of those guys. But that's not going to be expected of him. Like I said on Saturday's podcast, Wiggins' role will be just like that of Harrison Barnes when he was with the Warriors. I also think that the culture in Golden State, in that locker room, will be beneficial to Andrew Wiggins. He's never played on a team this good, or will be good next season. Definitely not this year. The best player he's ever played with is Jimmy Butler, and he wanted out of Minnesota as soon as he was stepping off the fucking plane. Long term, I think this deal will work out more for Golden State than it will for Minnesota. All right, that's all for today. I'll be back Friday morning. Please like and subscribe on YouTube. Leave me a 5-star rating on iTunes. Leave me a comment in the section below. Let me know what you think. Have a good week. I will see you guys on Friday.